What is up, Life Fam? Welcome to another video. My name is David, your spiritual awakening coach, here to help you through your spiritual awakening. Today's video is on how to ascend. There's quite a bit of interesting information floating around the spiritual community out there. And here at Lightways, I am all about giving you guys practical, relatable, usable information to keep you empowered and with a game plan on your spiritual journey. So let's talk about how to ascend, what is ascension, what it is not, so that you can stay empowered on your spiritual journey. Right now, let's go. How to ascend. So what is ascension? Well, first, it's not finally being able to levitate and shoot lightning from your eyes and fireballs from your palms. It's not the rapture where the good people are vacuumed up into heaven and the wicked are left to burn on the earth. It's not being woke enough to be teleported to some completely different planet called 5D Earth while the blue pills stay on 3D Earth. There's none of that nonsense. Ascension is disidentifying as the identity that your ego has created for you. This is called the false self. So since childhood, your ego has created an identity for you based off of social conditioning, your parents handed down beliefs, religious programming, and a myriad of other things in alignment with fear, such as unhealed trauma, that says this is your identity, this is who you are. So ascension is understanding that you are the awareness behind that false identity, the understanding that you are not that identity, the understanding that you are eternal, all powerful, having a temporary physical experience. You are source having a physical experience. And you no longer see life through the lens of the ego's illusion of competition, lack, scarcity, and fear. So you have this source perception when interacting with life that you're just playfully interacting with this 3D physical simulation, knowing that you chose all of the things that you're experiencing right now to give you a greater understanding of your true divine essence by living through the physical contrast of that essence. The physical contrast of that divine essence is fear and, scarcity, lack, unhealed trauma. All of that stuff has a high level of vibrational dissonance to the dominant frequency of source, which is your spiritual DNA. So what is ascension? Ascension is understanding that you are the self-awareness behind the false identity, and therefore you don't fall for the ego's fear-based nonsense. You're living life with this playful understanding that you chose everything before deciding to incarnate, so you would have a better understanding of your true divine essence by living through the physical contrast of it. And those experiences for this particular incarnation, the healing of those things that are in alignment with fear and out of alignment with the dominant frequency of source, puts you onto the timeline of why you decided to incarnate in the first place. How to ascend? Well, if we just said that ascension is waking up from believing that you are the identity that your ego has constructed for you, then that would mean that the first step on how to ascend is to disidentify as the false self. But what does that look like practically? How do you do that? Well, you step into unity consciousness. This is also called Christ consciousness. Christ saw the divine in everyone, not just himself. The kingdom of heaven is within you. As a matter of fact, Jesus spent more time with the thieves and the lepers than ordinary people, right? Interestingly enough, it was the Pharisees that he was very much against, that dogmatic religious, type of thing, which entire dogmatic religions have been formed off of his name, which I find very ironic, but I'm going to leave that aside for now. But this is namaste. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. So recognize the divine in your fellow human, and not just recognize the divine having a temporary physical experience the same as you, but that person is also an extension of you. See yourself in that other person. This is the definition of love, to take something as yourself, right? This is love. So when you're in that love vibration, what are you not in? Fight or flight. You're not in survival mode, right? When you're believing the ego's lies and illusions of competition, lack, and scarcity, oh, I got to get mine. I got to get mine before someone else gets it. I got to fight for it. When you step off of that competitive plane and you step on the abundant plane where there's more than enough for everybody, you're out of fight or flight. You're out of survival mode. Fight or flight is a very resistant mode where your life is very tough. You're swimming upstream because you're believing the ego's lies. When you start to move into unity consciousness, which is the frequency of the dominant frequency of source, which is love, you're swimming with the stream. It's a flow state of receptivity. So when you practice unity consciousness, you're physically demonstrating to yourself that you're actually not the false identity that your ego has constructed for you, which is in alignment with all of those fear-based beliefs. And it also gets you more out of alignment with unhealed trauma. Unhealed trauma is in alignment with fear, whether it be fear of abandonment, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being worthy of love. You start to get off of that fear frequency and you get onto that love frequency, which is the dominant frequency of source. And then life is in a flow state of receptivity. How to ascend. So the next thing you want to do is drop any expectations or outcomes of what you think ascension should look like. Why would this be? Because everyone's spiritual journey is unique. This has to be the case because everyone has different aspects within them that need healing. What is healing? Taking the higher frequency of love, which is the dominant frequency of source, and applying it to the lower vibrational aspects of unhealed trauma in alignment with fear, which holds the highest vibrational dissonance to the dominant frequency of source, and raising the frequency of that aspect to be integrated, not separated, integrated into your more dominant frequency. What is integrating into your more higher dominant frequency? Ascending, right? This is ascension. You're ascending, you're increasing the light capacity of your cells by purging the denser energy. This is where ascension symptoms comes from. So with ascension symptoms, this is the age of Aquarius, right? The age of enlightenment. So there is an increased light code influx hitting the planet, more intense than ever before. Our energy bodies are picking that up, but our physical bodies are trying to adjust to that. Now, because everything is energy and the physical cells of your body have consciousness, this means that the physical cells of your body are holding unhealed trauma, holding fear, holding limiting beliefs, holding shame, guilt, and all that lower vibrational stuff. And as those increased light codes are trying to bombard the energy body, and the physical body is trying to recalibrate and purge that stuff so that it can increase its light capacity, hold more light, your physical body is going to react in a myriad of different ways. This is where ascension symptoms come from. So, fatigue, anxiety, ringing ears, waking up at exactly 3:27 a.m., and a myriad of other things. Now, I won't go down the rabbit hole of ascension symptoms. I have an ascension symptoms playlist, which is very popular. I'll leave that in the description below, because there's also very positive ascension symptoms as well, which a lot of people don't talk about, and that is in that playlist. So I will put that in the description below. But releasing your expectations of what ascension should look like will allow you to release control of the ascension process. Control is resistance. There's that word resistance again. How do you ascend if you're swimming upstream? How do you ascend if there's resistance? You release control and surrender to the process. When you release control and surrender to the process, you understand that it's a process and you're going to experience ascension symptoms, and you're actually eager to see what that new higher consciousness, greater version with healed trauma is going to look like. You're eager to meet that new version of yourself. What is that also doing? It's having you disidentify as that false self, right? So also when you drop the expectations of what ascension should look like, you don't judge yourself. This is, again, judgment is resistance, right? Because, oh, I should be further along on my journey, or I shouldn't have reacted this way, or this and this and this. It's your spiritual journey is going to be unique to you, and it's going to be different for someone else. So ascension to you practically may look like getting rid of that toxic relationship that you're just keeping around to appease your abandonment trauma. The fear behind it is you believe that you won't meet someone else, or that you're going to be alone. Whatever that is, that's what ascension is going to look like for you if that's the trauma that you need to heal. So go easy on yourself. Understand that it's a part of the process. This is the thing about a spiritual journey. It's got peaks and valleys and everything in between, and the journey actually is the destination. This is the thing about spirituality. The destination is not levitating off into the mountains somewhere. The journey is the destination. So go easy on yourself. Understand it's a part of the process. Maybe ascension for you means letting go of that dead-end job that you hate to commute to. It's killing the joy in your heart. The treasure that's in your heart is not able to be expressed because you have fear of not having enough money to pay your bills, or fear of not being able to monetize your true passion. Ascension for you is going to look like dropping all of the dense things in your life that is keeping you from living a happy, free, purposeful life filled with love and joy. How to ascend. Center into the present moment. You are not going to be able to ascend in the future or ascend from the past. You can only ascend from the present moment. How do you do this? You go within. Going within is centering into the heart space. We've said it in previous videos that the gateway to higher consciousness is through the heart chakra. So those lower three chakras are in alignment with survival and identity, the physicality, the 3D of things. Then that heart chakra is the portal to the higher consciousness chakras, right? Of course, love is the dominant frequency of source. So love is going to be that frequency that allows you to ascend into higher consciousness, ascend into understanding your identity as source, having a physical experience. So step into that love frequency. I know it sounds hippy dippy, but it's true. Why? Because it's the dominant frequency of source, and it's not a survival state of fight or flight where you are viewing your fellow human as a threat. Okay? So you're swimming with the stream when you're in that frequency of love and gratitude. You step into a flow state of receptivity. You're out of that resistant state of fight or flight. So you step into that love state by healing anything that is keeping you back from stepping into love that is in alignment with fear. Fear is going to be that anchor that pulls you back from fully stepping into love because you're viewing life as a threat, either through unhealed trauma or something is holding you back from identifying as a physical embodiment of love itself, which is source, right? So make sure you are doing your shadow work so that your ascension is not anchored by fear. Again, May 4th is going to be the live free webinar for the group coaching, where I will be discussing the features of that group coaching, which include shadow work. So if you're having trouble with shadow work, the group coaching includes self-love healing, self-worth healing, shadow work, inner child work. Link in the description for that webinar. That is going to be on May 4th. But do your shadow work so that you can step into that love frequency, and then life just becomes an easy flow state. First, we will do quote of the day, and then we will do question of the day. Here's today's high vibrational quote. Now, question of the day. How will you step into ascension on your spiritual path today. Light fam, let us know in the comments below so that we can all learn from one another. The Lightways Live is going to be this Thursday instead of Friday. This Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Going to do it this Thursday instead of Friday. I'll also post a reminder on the communities tab as well. Please stop by the channel Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, and I will see all of my beautiful light fam in the next video. Light, love, and abundance to all that are watching and to all you love. Peace, guys.